Hello, I'm Alan Perithas from Capstone Partners, and today we have Lee Carter from Momenta Ventures. Welcome, Lee.
Hi, Alan.
So, Lee, it's great to see you here. I know Momenta has been very involved in the Laurel world for quite some time.
Yeah.
And they have a variety of different business activities, but you're here as part of the venture arm.
Yes, exactly.
So tell us about what Momenta is doing as far as ventures.
Sure. So Momenta Partners in general, we help industrial players to digitize their business on advisory team as well as in search. So creating a digital transformation for somewhat older industries. In ventures, we look at investing in the solutions that can potentially help those transformations. And so one of the biggest pieces of that transformation is just collecting data off of machines or off of farms or wherever you might need it for those companies.
So it's would you describe the fund as focusing on seed round, A round, B round? Where do you play?
Yeah, so the fund, so we have two different funds. Our first one is a generalized digital industry, and then our second one, which is the one that I manage, is our Edge Ecosystem Fund. And so we do seed and Series A, and specific to edge devices, edge deployments, and anything that allows for more intelligence at the edge and ability to use that intelligence internally.
That is a very big hunting ground you're looking at.
Sure.
So let's talk about maybe you've had this fund now for a little bit of time.
Yeah.
What are some of the investments that you've made?
Yeah, so the last couple we just announced in the last 2 weeks. So we just announced on Tuesday we invested in a company called SST Wireless. And this company has industrialized sensors for the types of partners that we work with. So for example, they have a direct contact temperature sensor that can go up to about 200 degrees C. And this enables a lot of different applications, but one of the ones that's gaining a lot of traction right now is in sawmills, where they're trying to, you need to keep the temperature under a certain degree in order for the machine to continue to work. But that is a very high temperature, and so your average sensor, the ones on this wall in front of us, are all going to melt. And so it's a lot of that type of industrialized sensor, and they started with tire pressure monitoring systems. The interesting thing about SST is they were actually using a proprietary protocol previously, and are moving to LoRa because of what they can, the ecosystem that they can now utilize by doing so.
It's a very intelligent solution because when metals get too hot, they lose their tempering.
Exactly.
And then they're not sharp anymore, and so they can't cut. So it's a huge problem in a whole variety of manufacturing processes.
Yeah.
So that's impressive. Now, is it fair to say, though, that your fund is very focused on LoRa in terms of LPWin?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I think we see LoRa as we're very aligned with the open ecosystem and the ability to invest in young companies and have them grow in an open ecosystem is much greater than that in a closed ecosystem. But we do look at the entire edge universe with all connectivity options as well.
That makes sense. Now, how about geographical focus? You talked about the stage. You talked about the functional area.
Yeah.
But in terms of geography, is there a particular focus or emphasis?
So really, it's the focus is around where LPWan is being deployed. Where edge connectivity is being deployed. So we due to where we are located, we tend to look at North American and European investments. But we also made an investment in Fleet Space, which is an Australian company. And also our first investment was in a company called Colmostar that's North American and Chinese. So we actually look across geographies, but tend to focus on North America and Europe.
Yeah, the flights can get fun after a while if you're flying in a big circle.
Yeah.
One last question. I deal with a lot of different stage companies in IoT, from very mature listed companies down to early stage. And I find there's a big knowledge gap with some of the younger companies in terms of understanding the role of a VC, understanding the role of funding, and sort of how to think about what you need. What advice would you give for a young company in the LoRaWAN space that knows they need some capital, but it's really their first experience with a VC? I mean, what advice would you give to them?
So my advice for them is actually similar to advice I give to almost any startups is understanding what your value proposition is and being able to articulate that clearly is the most important part. Many people fail at that, both in selling to customers and in selling to VCs. The other piece is that I think there's a tendency to believe that VCs are scared of hardware. That's true for many and some traditional VCs, but there's actually many out there that are excited about hardware and hardware combined with software solutions. And so I think as long as you have built your business to scale into a market that you've shown is sizable, hardware and software can both be interesting investments.
Well, I'm very happy to hear that, given the level of hardware activity going on in the IoT space.
Yeah.
Anyway, Lee Carter, Momenta Partners, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Alan.